Okay, so by request I'm going to do a sound emitter, like when you collide with a CSG object, make a sound. So I've started a clean one. I don't have any of my crazy scripts written in here yet. My player doesn't have his HUD or anything, or there's no aim down sights mode in the script. It's just the plain Jane new project blank. Alright, so all I did was make a CSG object, a player, and a directional light. I also saved the map as noise, but that's just for reference. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to make this collision CSG box. Alright, so there's a collision CSG box, and I made it green so that we can tell the difference. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a script to that box. So what I typically do is come in here, and I'm going to change its name to sound trigger. Because I'm going to add a script to it, I don't want it named the same plain Jane as all the rest so that I can find it more easily. Box 1 is fine for a typical floor box, but sound trigger pulls my attention when I'm looking for it in the tree. Alright, so then after I've named it, I'm going to come over here to its script, excuse me, and I'm going to drop a special script in there. But I'm going to show you where to get this script. So in triggers, we're going to right click and hit new script. And in that new script, we're going to call this the enter exit script, or trigger. Alright, let's open that up. Alright, so this is a pre-generated script. I'm going to delete it out. I've seen this in Rick's tutorials, and Jorn made one in one of his tutorials. But we're just going to come down. I already found it. It's in this wikidot for Leadwerks. Collision enter exit. We're going to copy this script and we're going to put it in our script here. Okay, what this basically does is when something collides with it, it sets the had collision to true, and then it calls an output. Hey, I collided. And then it'll also check if it is entered. If it hasn't been entered yet, it's going to call the output entered, and then set enter to true and exited to false. So then the next time something collides, it's true, it's not going to call this output again. It'll call this one, but not this one. I'll show you the difference later. And then this reverses it when you exit. Update physics is called a set amount of times, whereas update world is variable on frame rate. You could do it as a timer, but then you've got a timer. This is a very beautiful way of doing it. So that what happens is only once you collide with it, it won't collide again until you exit and collide another time. I'll show you. It'll make sense here in a second. But you need this enter exit. You could try and play around with it and make your own, but I like this one. So now that we have an enter exit script, we're going to come back to our sound trigger, and we're actually going to give it that enter exit script. Actually, first, I'm going to show you. You're not going to want to actually do this, but I'm going to show you why. You can use the base collision trigger, and then all you need to do to actually generate the sound is to make a pivot. And I'm just going to drop this pivot. Actually, let's drop it right there, right on the surface of that CSG. Back to scene. Once again, I'm going to script this, so I'm going to call it the noise maker. And this is what's actually going to emit our sound. So we're going to come in here, objects, sounds, noise. Okay, so we got the noise Lua. We're going to pick a file. Alright, I already picked this one, Impact Metal 7. This is what it sounds like. Okay, so it's a nice big metal ring that's different than like our footsteps and stuff. Uncheck playing. If you check playing, it's going to play the sound as soon as the game loads. You don't want that. You do want it enabled. I'm not going to mess with this. Range is how far away the character can hear the sound. Volume's how loud, and the pitch is obviously the pitch. The other thing you need to change is you do not want it to loop, or else it'll just sit there and bang, 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 bang the whole time, and it won't stop. So just uncheck loop. And then what we're going to use is the flow graph editor. This is an awesome tool that's in Leadwerks. You can take your sound trigger and your noise maker, and you can say, on a collision, play the sound. And that's it. Now every time that there's a collision with the CSG box, this sound is played. Alright, so I'm going to show you why the normal collision trigger won't work. See how it went off like a machine gun? That's bad. Because while you're standing on this box, every step you take, you're colliding with it. That's the way the game sees it. So that's why we're going to not use the collision trigger. We're going to use this enter-exit trigger we just copied out. And we are going to go back to the flow graph editor. And see, now we have on collide, on enter, on exit. So on collide, we want to play. Or on enter, not on collide. So on enter, we want it to play. And then on exit, we want to do nothing. So let's save that. Now it should play once when we step on it. It's not quite working right. Okay. So, looks like there's something screwy there. I bet if we keep moving, it'll... Because if we stop, we didn't have a collision in it. Yeah, if we don't stop, it's fine. We did get a little bit there because I stepped off and back on. So, I don't necessarily like that for this. So I think we're going to actually do a custom script for it. So let's clear that out. And let's make ourselves a custom script. So let's bring the collision. And let's make it to where, let's save this first before we mess it up. So what we do is we take the collision, and then I am going to go back into that same folder, objects triggers, but I'm going to give it a different name, and I'm going to say noise trigger. And we can make this a little bit more clean as well, omit the use of the flow graph editor. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take out this whole commented section at the top. We're going to take out this enable disable call because I don't really think it's necessary. And we're going to take out this call outputs. And then we're going to come in to sounds, and we're going to open the noise. Alright, so I just want everything from noise, and I'm just going to copy that right straight over to here. Alright, once again I'm going to take out this enable disable call. I'm also going to take out the pause, because we don't need that. And that looks good for now. Okay, so in the collision, if self is enabled, then what we want to do is just self semicolon play. Alright, so what that does is we basically combine the two scripts. I don't want to call that output either. Let's also combine this. Let's see, is there a self, if self-enabled up here? No. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to cut it from that script. I'm going to delete that part, and then we're going to add it right here to the top to clean that up a little bit. So now we have a self-enabled statement and all that. Alright, we don't even need a self-enabled statement, but it's okay to have. and it's going to double check enabled. That's fine too. I'm going to take this in call. What this in call does is in the flow graph editor, it makes it to where, see how the let's save that. Sound trigger. Oh, I don't think we ever set that. No, we didn't set that. Let's go ahead and throw that on there. Noise trigger. See how it's got the play input? That's what this does. So, oops, accidentally deleted CSG box. If we take that out and save it, now in the flow graph editor, it's not there. Alright, because we're going to actually just do this ourselves. So what I'm going to do is in start and then script. Alright, let's also add in function, script, and we're going to add in that update physics. We could also do it as a get time. Update physics is nice though. So we're going to make a timer for this. I'm going to take out this loop because I don't really want the loop in there, and I don't want it to play on start ever, so I'm going to take that out. Alright, we're going to make a script dot, let's call it noise time, noise timer sounds better, equals 0. Okay, and then let's also make a script dot noise delay, and that equals, we'll just start it at 100 for now, and then we'll do dash dash integer and then call it noise delay, and that way it's now in our box down there whenever we select our noisemaker again, or not noisemaker, sound trigger. And see, now we've got a delay box and all that cool stuff. So now update physics. What we wanted to say is self dot, we're going to go back up here and grab that noise delay, and we're going to say equals self dot noise delay plus 1, not plus minus, plus 1. Okay, so self dot noise delay plus 1, and then whenever we get to play, if it's enabled and the self dot noise delay is greater than self dot, oops, I did that backwards. This should be timer, and I just really messed up. Okay, back. Okay, copy the noise timer. That should have been noise timer. I apologize. If the noise timer is greater than the noise delay, then play the sound. You also need to self dot noise, I think it's spelling that wrong, copy, paste, equals 0. Otherwise, it'll never trigger again. So now it can only trigger every 100 calls of update physics. And let's see if that's a good value. Let's go over here and walk on it. Oh, forgot to set a sound path. So impact, and I'm just going to use that metal sound again. Save it. Oop, I don't want to run in debug mode. See, it only calls every 100 frame or 100 updates. Let's make it 1,000 and run again. Okay, the other thing is, I just realized that I'm going to also make the default 1,000 there. Because this noise delay isn't reached 1,000 when I first got to that box. What we're going to actually do is right here at the beginning, self dot noise timer equals self dot noise delay. That way it starts maxed and climbs. So even if we reach it in the first 100 frames, it should have played. What did I mess up? So the noise timer equals the noise delay. Let's bring that number back down and test it again. Okay, it works. Okay. So maybe it's just a lot longer than I thought it was the first time, or first test was a little messed up. But I'm getting the feeling that this should actually be... We could actually do it as a time. Nah, let's just leave it. I think this is good. This will work. Yeah. So that's pretty much... Oh, I didn't change it over here. That's why it took so long. That's what was going on. Imagine that. See? Pay a little attention. It'll help sometimes. Anyway, that's how you make a sound. To make it a music instead, super simple. Like, close your editor. Just instead of playing a sound, let's just go to the... Let's see, what's a good... There we go. This is just off of the, like, preloaded My Game tutorial stuff that comes with the engine. So instead of being a sound, like a bang, it plays the music instead. The only difference in the script you're going to want to do there is for music, you're going to want to, in this play, you're going to want to say self dot enabled equals false. Or else you could like trigger it to play multiple times and then just save this as objects, triggers, and instead of being a noise trigger, just call it music trigger. Because you don't want multiple background sounds playing. This enabled false, and then you don't need the timer script. Actually, let's just pull that out if we're going to keep it as a music. You don't need the delay or the timer, and you don't need physics. Yeah. And let's clear that out. Triggers, music, and projects, my game, sounds, music, fully loaded. So when we step on it, oh wait, almost forgot to pull that out. When you take out variables, you got to take them all. Okay. There we go. Trigger that sound. There you go. If this didn't answer your question or you wanted something else from it, let me know. Have fun.